Hunter Biden's story is Russian disinfo. Dozens of former intel. So you remember Hunter Biden left his laptop at a repair shop, and then it got revealed, and there was all this sensitive information on it. And Glenn Greenwald wanted to write a story about it at The Intercept, and they wouldn't let him publish it. And if you remember, Twitter shut down New York Post web Twitter account because they wanted to also tell this story about Hunter. And so they said it was Russian disinformation, just like this.
Well, it was the election year, so you can't risk.
So it was right before the election. Yeah. So they did censorship. So Glenn Greenwald quit The Intercept over it. Twitter shut down the New York Post Twitter feed, and the story got suppressed. It was taken off Facebook, everywhere. It was supposed to be a fake story. Dozens of former intelligence officials say that the Hunter Biden's it's Russian disinformation. Wow, dozens of intelligence officials say this? That's how you know it's extra not true.
It's like an inverse proportion.
Yes.
As we're up in the dozens, that's the less true it becomes.
So get this. This is a new story. This is a story from, what's the date on? March 16th. Hunter Biden paid tax bill, but broad federal investigation continues. The Justice Department inquiry into the business dealings of the president's son has remained active, with the grand jury seeking information about payments from around the world. So he's big. It was so true that they're investigating him. But wait a minute, it gets better. First of all, Hunter paid his tax bill, it says. Come on. Why keep kicking a guy when he's down? Just leave the man to his art. Can't a Navy veteran Ukraine oilman just paint in peace?
That's the most interesting man in the world.
So here's the story that just came out in the New York Times. Watch this. People familiar with the investigation said prosecutors had examined emails between Mr. Biden, Mr. Archer, and others about Burisma and other foreign businesses' activities. Those emails were obtained by the New York Times from a cache of files that appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by Mr. Biden in a Delaware repair shop. I was told that was Russian disinformation. They fired Glenn Greenwald, had to leave The Intercept over that. They shut down New York Post Twitter feed over that. Or was it the Daily News? Whatever. They shut down a newspaper's Twitter feed over it. The email and others in the cache were authenticated by people familiar with them and with the investigation. Can you imagine you're the vice president's son, you leave a fucking laptop at a repair shop full of sensitive information about your corrupt business dealings?
Yeah, like the least bad thing on your laptop is the homemade
crack pornos.
Smoking.
Yeah.
What job porn you made.
That's the least, that's the
that's the least embarrassing part of the
So here it is, Hunter Biden's infamous laptop confirmed in New York Times report. The New York Times now admits the Biden laptop, falsely called Russian disinformation, is actually authentic. And here's the story now here's Politico reporting it. You ready? More than 54. So that's why you don't listen to fact checkers, people who call themselves fact checker, like factcheck.org and PolitiFact and Snopes. Those people are just assholes with an axe to grind, and they're paid by somebody with a bias. They're not fact checkers, they're propagandists. CNN are propagandists, MSNBC are propagandists, PolitiFact is propagandist, factcheck.org are propagandists, PBS is a propagandist, Snopes is propaganda. Anybody who calls themselves an official fact checker is a propagandist. That's how you know they call themselves fact checkers.
Even at sciencechange.org, even their fact
So more than 50 former senior intelligence officials have signed on to a letter outlining their belief that recent disclosure of emails allegedly belonging to Joe Biden's son has all the classic earmarks of Russian disinformation operation. Really? That's funny. It turns out those earmarks of Russian disinformation have all the dick prints of CIA lies.
That's,
Isn't that weird?
earmarks have dick prints.
The letter signed on Monday centers around a batch of documents released by the New York Post last week that purport to tie the Democratic nominee. This is the story that they ran before. That's all propaganda. This is the story. I'm just. What is this story from? This is from October 19th, 2020. This is how they were lying to everyone to make them think the opposite of the truth for a political reason. That's what the establishment media does. This is political, lying to you, saying that this true story about the President Biden and his son was Russian disinformation when it was actual information, and everybody fucking knew it. And so this is their bullshit story. Email under the banner headline Biden's secret emails, the Post reported it was given a copy of Hunter Biden's laptop hard drive by President Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who said he got it from a Mac shop owner in Delaware who also alerted the FBI. By the way, so while the letter's signatories presented no new evidence, they said their no new evidence.
It's just the same old Hunter Biden corruption.
It's the same old Hunter Biden corruption thing. They said their national security experience had made them deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in the case and cited several elements of the story that suggested the Kremlin's hand in the work. Wow. They just got a feeling. That's all that is. They got a feeling. If we are right, they added, this is a Russian trying to influence how Americans vote in the election, and we believe strongly that Americans need to be aware of this. If we are right, wow, if we are right, this is huge. But if we are wrong, we are fucking censors and doing the work of the Ministry of Truth. And it turns out you were wrong. And you guys committed a sin against the First Amendment in the United States, which is freedom of speech. Nick Shapiro, a former top aide under CIA Director John Brennan, provided Politico with a letter on Monday. He noted that the IC leaders who have signed this letter worked for the past 4 presidents, including Trump. The real power here, however, is in the number of former working-level intelligence community officers who want the American people to know that, once again, Russians are interfering. So that's called CIA propaganda that the Politico was repeating verbatim. So you understand why guys like me have a show with over 1 million viewers is because people at Politico repeat CIA and State Department talking points uncritically, and they're propagandists on purpose.
If this is how hard the former CIA people work, can you imagine what the actual ones do?
And who wrote this? This is by Natasha Bertrand. So Natasha Bertrand, super big propagandist, manufacturer of consent, and liar to her own readers. For Russians at this point, with Trump down in the polls, there is incentive for Moscow to pull out the stops to do anything possible to help Trump win or to weaken Biden should he win. And the letter says a laptop op fits the bill, as the publication of the emails are clearly designed to discredit Biden. Wow.
A classic laptop op.
Watch this. Remember this at the debate?
So it's true about Russia, Ukraine, China, other countries, Iraq. If this is true, then he's a corrupt politician.
Right.
So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby. Joe, they're calling you a corrupt politician.
Nobody. President Trump, I want to stay on the issue of race. We're talking about the issue.
From hell.
President Trump, we're talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
I have to respond to that.
Please.
Because look,
very quickly.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
Is this
That's
where you're
exactly what.
This is
told.
where he's going. The laptop is Russia.
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You
okay?
have to be kidding. Here we
Mr.
go again
President,
with Russia.
We're going to.
By the way, why would Russia want Trump to win since they want to go in Ukraine? Like, didn't it work out way better for them for Biden to win, so they could go right in?
Yes. Virtually every liberal outlet, except to their credit, the New York Times, spread this CIA lie and lied about what these officials said. They admitted they had no evidence for their suspicion. Look at this campaign ad masquerading as reporting that Huffington Post did. You ready for this?
Yes.
Watch this. Watch this.
Oh.
With Trump down, can you turn it down? With Trump down in the polls, there is incentive for Moscow to pull out the stops and do anything possible. The New York Post published what it claimed were emails obtained from the Hunter Biden's laptop. However, many news outlets could not verify the legitimacy of the Post report. President Donald Trump has used Hunter Biden's work on the board of Burisma to politically attack Joe Biden.
His work?
His work. His work.
People sit on boards. Hey,
people sit on boards. He's doing work. So that was from the Huffington Post, and that was put out literally as a news segment. That's not a news segment.
Well, I'm surprised that HuffPo would end up being crab.
That's 100% propaganda. And they're afraid of YouTubers and Joe Rogan. Again, the biggest liars and misinformers are always the government. The next is the corporate media. That's who the liars are. And then Putin. Okay, watch this. Here's what Glenn Greenwald said. The objections to noting all of this today are drearily predictable. Reporting on Hunter Biden is irrelevant since he was not himself a candidate. What made the reporting relevant was what it revealed about the involvement of Joe Biden in these deals. Given the war in Ukraine, now is not the time to discuss all of this, despite the fact that they are usually ignored. There are always horrific wars being waged, even if the victims are not as sympathetic as European Ukrainians, and the perpetrators are the films of good guys and not the bad guys.
Films good guys,
are the films good guys and not the bad guys. The real reason most liberals and their media allies do not want to hear about any of this is because they believe that the means they use deliberately, lying to the public with CIA disinformation, are justified by their noble ends, defeating Trump. So the reason why no one cares about that, everybody that they lied and censored and suppressed about Hunter's laptop, is because they believe their lying is noble because they're fighting an evil enemy, and it's okay to lie about Hitler.
Is this from Glenn's new publication, No Shit magazine? Oh, no shit.
This is at his No Shit stack.
Yeah. I mean, those obviously they're kind of open about that the greater good. It's not a lie if it's for the right reasons, and it's not violence if it's for the right reasons, and like it's noble.
It's noble.
Yeah.
When we do it, it's good. It's the Christian thing to do. All right. Glenn then says, this is a story I covered from the start because of how much corruption is revealed. The corporate press and big tech used a blatant CIA lie to claim an authentic archive was false. Yes, there's a war going on. There always is. But these events are vital. Matt Taibbi says, I know a lot of people think this is not important, the Hunter Biden story, but solely as a step in our progression to a system of censored news. The suppression of the laptop story was a very big deal. It's become way too easy for intelligence officials to meddle in the news landscape. Here's what Aaron Mate says. He says John Brennan and Jim Clapper signed that letter saying that the laptop wasn't real, it was Russian disinformation. So John Brennan and Jim Clapper signed the letter claiming the Hunter's laptop had all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. Brennan and Clapper were key figures behind the pivotal January 2017 U.S. intel report on Russiagate. What are the odds that they got that one right?
Is that where they're getting their earmarks from the other thing that wasn't a thing?
Here's what Jen Psaki says. She's the president's professional liar press secretary. She said back on in October of 2020, Hunter Biden's story is a Russian disinfo, dozens of former intel officials say. Well, guess what? Hunter Biden's infamous laptop confirmed in the New York Times report.
I don't understand how she could. They're saying this. This is what blows me away. They say this. Well, dozens of intel officials how is that credibility to say that?
That's not credible. You mean a professional liar? You mean the CIA, intelligence officials? You mean people who, as a part of their job description, are professional liars?
I think I'm supposed to imagine Jack Bauer said it. I think that's like the idea. Like I'm supposed to think it's the cast of 24.
Like if people who join the CIA have good intentions. Anyway,
I mean, just that adds no credence to it.
None.
Unless, like, you were just born.
And so this was what was trending. Laptop from hell. That was trending, and it was also twending. We're doing our live stand-up tour. We're going to Houston. We're going to Dallas. We're going to Los Angeles, Orlando, Tampa, Columbus, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Des Moines, Omaha, Kansas City, and more. Go to JimmyDoreComedy.com for a link for all the tickets and become a premium member. You get all our bonus stuff.